Welcome back, Hunters. I'm the SurvivalVis, and we return to the Hunter Classic on Bushranger's run. Now, normally what I would do with this being like the second week of a reserve we're on, is I would have actually started from the other lodge here. However, I did do a little bit of hunting around this area, and the last two animals we have to go after, I've been told, are actually more up in these red areas. So we'll probably be sticking around there to try to get these last two animals from the reserve. And then we've actually hunted all of Bushranger Run's reserve animals, which is, I think, one of the first times we've done that in the series since I've started covering the game. So we're just going to head out, see if we can get red fox and rabbit as, like, the two big ones. But also take, again, anything around there. You guys in the comments have been very, very helpful with, like, a bunch of stuff. Let me just think here. Danger Floof has been very good and helpful, as always, in the comments, such as, like, if we're going after kangaroos, fur color is the big thing to look for. Oh, well, there's already kind of what we're after. So I might actually have a red fox in just a little bit here. Oh, apparently there's a duck collar lanyard that you can get. Okay. Trying to remember what the other person's name is, because they were super helpful as well with something we're probably actually going to run into in a bit here. Okay, well, we'll start with Danger Floof because, again, the name, they've just been commenting so much, I recognize them right off the bat. For kangaroo, look for the fur color. For goats, it doesn't really matter the gender. Look more at what the horns are like. So that's something very good to know, that you don't have to, like the other animals, be more focused on is it a male or a female to try to get a nice reward or what their score is. Gender is regardless for them. So those were some good bits of advice there. Nathaniel Kopp also chimed in that this is really another good beginner or like starting friendly reserve. It's a little bit more exotic species, such as like the kangaroo, axis deer, stuff like that to hunt. But also, too, that you don't need a lot of well, I shouldn't say need, but there aren't a lot of collars you feel like you are missing out if you don't have them. Like, all you really have are the predator collar for the foxes, the hog collar, and then the new axe steer collar. But aside from those, and with how the map or the reserve is more laid out without super dense like shrub in that, I shouldn't say shrub, scrubland, you don't feel like you're as limited with like trying to draw things out of areas of dense foliage to actually see it. Actually, speaking of, I should probably put that new collar to the test here, shouldn't I? I don't exactly know where that fox is. And, I'm going to have to definitely look up the name for... You know what? I'm feeling so bad about it. I'm going to pause here and I'm going to check the name out quickly as of this moment, because I feel that bad. So just give me one moment here. Okay, I'm back. It's Janita S. I just wanted to make sure I got the name proper, because, again, one of the nice things about being a small channel, I can feel like I really have a good opportunity to interact and communicate with you guys. So Janita S. also pointed out that if the binoculars aren't working to, like, spot animals, you can actually spot immediately through a weapon scope for that. The reason why I don't think I've remembered that is back in Call of the Wild, they hid that ability behind a skill you had to unlock. Whereas the Hunter Classic, you can just use your weapon scope for that, so it's a really nice thing to have in Classic. But yeah, that I think is kind of most of the big advice kind of you guys have been leaving to address and thank you for. And there is one little topic that I do want to bring up. Now, is there a right way and a wrong way to play the Hunter Classic? Technically, yes, but it's probably not the way you're going to immediately leap at. The only technically correct way I can see to playing the game is to either use weapons ethical to hunt the animals, or the wrong way and not use ethical weapons for it. Beyond that, however you play or enjoy the Hunter Classic, or the Hunter Call of the Wild, whatever, is completely up to you and there is no right or wrong. If you're the kind who maybe does take a while to hunt something, but does enjoy that experience and does get the animal, I don't see any issue with that. There are always going to be more efficient ways of doing things or less efficient ways of doing things. But the big thing is you just have to be sure you're enjoying the game. As long as you're doing that, then don't let anybody really come to tell you, no, this is right, that's wrong. Oh, there we go, finally spotted one. Wait a minute. Oh, that's right, I accidentally have been switching the scope back and forth between them. Okay. There we go. Nice easy drop. And yeah, I think my problem sometimes has been for, like, the weapon sway on the 243. I only have it level 4. And I do admit this is a bit of a gripe I have with the Hunter Classic. It is a real grind to get some of those levels up. Like, it can take a long time to get the weapon shooting levels up. And until you get, I think it might be like level 5, the sway does feel very impactful, and you are definitely fighting it unless you are laying flat for, like, trying to get certain shots in. We just gotta head up and collect ourselves the fox, though, and we've only got one animal left to really go after then. And the reason why we're in this area again is because the rabbit and the foxes are supposed to be more plentiful or more common in this half of the map. And then the rabbits I'm hoping I can find, because Danger Flew, again, very helpful with the comments of how a few things operate in the Hunter Classic. They've also got quite a bit of experience with the game under their belt. The rabbits actually use like a burrowing system where you can kind of almost like camp them in a way. Oh, I just have to figure out where this fox... Oh, is this you over here, or is this just another track? No, this is just another track. Okay, the good news is I got the fox down. The bad news is I don't exactly remember where he is. With him being a little bit of a smaller one, he might be a bit hidden as we're going through this area. Or he's just right in front of me, I'm just talking out my butt. That's something that's happening in quite a few series too, but here we go. It's our first fox of Bushranger's run. Really? I thought I was much more further up on him. You guys reviewing, you tell me where you think the shot placement was. Unless maybe the wind had a big impact, I could have sworn I got him more up in this area. We'll take just a little trophy shot or whatever. Okay. And I guess I could try small game. I just gotta try to pick him up and get him in my arm there. Actually, maybe this will work better. I guess that kind of works. Hard to say about the expression on the fox, but I guess that's okay enough. So we'll accept that. Oh, actually not too bad GM for it. Yeah, he kind of plops down before he's taken to the Shadow Realm or whatever. Okay. So there's a fox down. It'd be nice to try to get the rabbits as well. So I'm going to try to keep more north and into like some of the scrub and brush. Is there anything else I wanted to mention? I don't think so. I think that really covered most of the points. Like, all the comments I wanted to thank you guys for, because they've always been super helpful. There's the one, again, I don't really feel there's too much of a right and wrong way to play the Hunter Classic. Have fun your way. Don't let somebody tell you you're having fun the wrong way. If you enjoy how you're playing, that's completely fine. If you do want to find guides or help or stuff out there, there are ways that can make you a more efficient hunter and more, like, skilled with doing certain things. But don't feel like you're compelled to have to play in a certain manner. Just as you play, you might pick up stuff naturally on your own and slowly grow and get your experience and improve on that regard. And, you know what? I actually don't know if I'll need this one. So you know what? I think I'll switch out already for the shotgun. There we go. Yeah, let's just load that up. There we go. Okay, so given the... Yeah, let me get the map up. Yeah, given the layout of things, I'm going to head right up north more. See what we can find up through that way. This also might be an area we'll find more kangaroos, too. Just because I know the first kangaroo we got right along the trail as we were going, like, to the second lodge. But it might be that this area will have more, too. And then another thing is that, again, there are resources out there, such as the wiki or map and stuff like that, to use that can give you an edge for certain things that you're after as well. I do admit I wish there was a little bit more information in-game or through, like, as you're actually loaded into a hunt to go off of, like, certain missions you could, like, tag as your checklist. The ethical weapons, just right from the lodge inventory. Things like that, which are a little bit better, more quality of life to keep contained. But that just addresses, like, some of the things that I wanted to bring up and mention. I'm trying to remember what our GM is right now, too. I know I just picked up a little bit more 243 ammo, but I think we're around 1400. So it kind of goes to show just how I've been playing, that's how I've been tracking GM, because since I've started the series, again, I don't really play the Hunter Classic in my spare time. Everything you see on video since the series started has been the only time I've been playing since I've returned to it. So that kind of gives you an idea of how the GM flow is, and admittedly, if you are trying to save up for the weapons or certain things like that, the best approach would be to really hammer down those missions. They give you, once they get up into their ranks, like towards maybe the 4th or 5th, they're starting to give you like 500 apiece if you can pull them off, so they are worth it. It's just that I'm more of a free hunter that kind of roams off and gets up to my own dumb stuff. Speaking of, I kind of was hoping I would have found more or heard something else going off into the, like, wild here. Doesn't seem like that's the case. So I'll have to, again, just kind of listen out and see what I can come across and find. I do think sticking the trail does have some advantages, because, like, the first time we went last week... Oh, well, there we go. Okay, so we'll get a little pin up there so we know approximate location. I said approximate location, not way to frick off. There we go. Okay, so we'll head over that way, kind of see what we can spot as well, and see who has the biggest set of horns on them. Again, that's the big thing about the goats. It seems to be... I think off to the sides have more potential to go for, like, size than just straight up, but don't quote me on that, I'm still learning the animals quite a bit myself. It's right now just trying to make a guess of, if I get a view of what goats are there, what looks like the most promising. Oh, yeah, scorpions running by. I think that's one thing that would probably freak me out about Australia, is just how many things that can kill you about that landmass. Like, so many different species are so dangerous and deadly. It would be kind of nerve-wracking if you haven't grown up with it to know what to avoid. Well, then again, there are certain areas of the world that just have that regard. Like even the United States has a fair share of stuff, like down in the southern reaches. I mean, you got, what is it, like the water moccasins, the rattlesnakes. I'm sure they've got a few spiders that are, like, have a pretty potent venom as well. I guess it's just Australia, because of maybe more limited exposure, the most you get is most of the lethal wildlife. That's kind of hard to say. Oh, okay, so we gotta try... Oh, there we go. Looks like a goat. Oh, actually a few. So it looks like that one does have the best horns out of what I can see at the moment. And I think it might actually be just those 3. Yeah, we got the little one up there, but those horns... Oh, actually we got a black one, but I think that one right there is our best bet. I'm just gonna have to wait till it might... There we go. Wasn't sure if I'd be able to get that shot in, but looks like it landed perfectly. Okay, so let's go collect ourselves the goat. And then we'll keep going over that way, see what we can find. But this one, again, I really wonder where... Maybe the fox was starting to move when I took the shot? I don't know, I want to see where this one registers that we actually, like, got the shot to impact. Because for the fox, that seemed weird that we were... Like, when we took the shot, it more landed right to the liver. I thought I was aiming a little further up, but maybe I was just mistaken. We'll snag a few prints, though, as we are going about. And there's our little goat up there. I'm not guessing he's going to really be worth that much GM. Like, again, I think it's more the ones that go off to the sides are the ones that'll be the higher rewarding ones. Then I think I also forgot to activate one of the daily missions. Well, truth be told, because of the way I do play the Hunter the Hunter Classic with only in the series, I don't think I'd get the most out of the daily missions, but that's also something you guys should try. If you are going to play the Hunter Classic, I'd recommend trying to keep on top of. Because I think it actually kind of operates a bit weird, I think. Is it like the first 2 or 3 days it gives you 100, the next day or two is 200, and then it gives you 500, but then it scales down again? I can't remember. But at least we got ourselves the goat up here, and we'll see just how it's scoring. Yeah, it's not really an impressive set. Now that looks like it landed really far back for it to have put him down immediately. Yeah, so maybe what it is, there's probably been a bullet delay before, like, until I shoot and the bullet actually lands. But you know what? That's not exactly a high score. Yeah, only 14 is not very high scoring animal, so we won't take that trophy shot. And, no, probably basically just made a loop right back to the lodge. Okay, well, I'm going to keep going out over this way. Is there something there, or is that just the shadows? Just the shadows. Oh, excuse me. So, just got the rabbits to find. Another neat thing about the Bushrangers run is that you're actually doing a lot more ethical hunting just by the species you're able to hunt. Because the only native species to this map, I think, are the kangaroo and... There was something else, but I thought it was like a magpie or something like that. I don't know if it's actually huntable. I really don't know now, but... Aside from the kangaroo, the rest of the animals are all more like invasive species. The feral goats, the feral hogs, the axis deer, and the rabbits all kind of were brought to the continent and are, well, again, invasive. So you're kind of doing a little bit of help for the ecosystem trying to clear out some of them. When it comes to decimating a species, mankind is kind of the MVP of that, so we're just kind of doing what we do best, which is sad to say. Okay, I think these are just more prints from the goat, so I might actually even do a little bit of a run just to get out of this area. Yeah, these are just the goats. Okay, I'm going to just take us for a little bit of a sprint. Now, there is one thing that I am a little confused about when it comes to Bushrangers run, and I'd have to look up because I didn't check it out before I started playing. I've got the water bottles, but I don't know, like, what the overheating thing is. Am I kind of immune just because of the type of clothing I have on, or is it something that comes into effect more as you're, like, out for longer periods of time? I don't exactly know for sure. I mistakenly thought there was, like, an African map, like how Call of the Wild has one, and you'd use it on that one, but looking at all of their reserves, I feel like it would really only apply to this one. So I don't exactly know what the overheat is. I mean, I'm sure you guys in the comments, you probably know if you've gotten the experience in playing for a while. And if the dang headphones would sit properly for a while. More red fox. See, I don't know if I'd actually hear the rabbits call, or it'd be something I'd just, like, spot a little bit of movement out in the distance for. But how I've been told in the comments the rabbits work is they have, like, connected burrow systems. So in a way, it's almost like a whack-a-mole, where if you find one spot, you could just kind of sit there, watch, and wait till one pops out, shoot it off, head back, kind of get a little bit of a spot to sit and watch, and then continue from there. It's just, unless I hear something, I don't know how easy it'll be to, like, stumble upon the rabbits. And then these tracks are all just kind of going in the direction I've been. So So I will go for another little bit of a run. Actually kind of found our first more, like, forested area, too. Actually, two reserves are pretty close to each other. I'm trying to remember what one that is. Pickabeen Bay, I believe, is this one up here. So I'm trying to remember what the name of that one is. It's more like, I think it's meant to emulate, like, the marshlands of, like, Louisiana-esque area. Like, more of the wetlands and marsh there for what you hunt. I just can't remember the name off the top of my head. I know there's White Hart Island, Loggers Point, Settlers Creek, Pickabeen Bay, Bushrangers Run, Hemmeldal, Hirschfelden. Oh, Red Fox. Kind of in the direction we're going to. And there's tracking level up. Oh, I thought I put down the little marker. No, you know what? This might actually be a perfect place to try using our collar. Because again, if I'm not going to use the collar, what's the point of even picking it up? Now if okay, yeah, this is a good spot to just, like, go right down with. So it is a way forward, but I don't know how quickly a fox might come into a predator call. I think I don't exactly want to use... Oh, well, hello. You actually came in pretty quick. Yeah, see, binoculars aren't exactly spotting them that well, but if I switch over to this... I think we might get the pickup quicker. No, dang, he actually basically, like, got camouflaged right into there. There we go. And there's another fox down. Yeah, in Call of the Wild, when you use the Predator call, it usually makes the animals, like the predators and that, come in pretty quickly, because they're basically getting food, 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 food. It's not quite like how the other animals are, where, oh, it sounds like a buddy. I'm going to kind of just walk and see if I can call and figure out where they are. Now, for the Predator calls, I'm not sure if it would, like, cause them to be much quicker in trying to respond and come in. Like, they certainly will not call back. That's kind of dumb to do. This sounds like something that's weak and injured. I'm going to make a loud noise, so that way it knows where I am and that can run away from me. No, that's kind of dumb. So instead, it's more of a, you're ringing a dinner bell, and these guys are going to try coming in before anybody else can make use of that. So that's why I wanted to keep a little bit more distance for when I tried calling this fox in. Just in case it was coming in a little quicker. There you are. Okay, let's take a look at you. Yeah, see, that one makes a little more sense to be where we got it. Okay. What does... I guess we can go with gregarious, although... should probably lift your head up. I suppose not too bad of a shot there. We'll just accept that. No, again, not too bad. So already, just from the two foxes, that would completely offset the little bit of GM I spent to get the 243. So, 3 shots and already can buy another pack of 10 ammo, so... that's nice to have. Good to know that it is rather easy to replace all your ammunition as long as you're making accurate shots. Of course, if you're going to use any of the archery stuff that doesn't have sighting to it, like, say, the recurve bow, the longbow, or the cableback bow, it's going to be a bit more difficult because, again, those ones take a bit of time to understand how they operate and what their, like, shooting is. So, unfortunately, I haven't really heard any of the rabbits since I've been coming out, or, like, going into this area more. But maybe if I'm lucky and we still have an episode left, we'll be able to spot them and get them down. Again, Bushrangers has been very welcoming for, like, being a reserve that feels a little more, like, into the game, but incredibly beginner-friendly. Majority of animals can just be taken with the 243 you start with. I admit I am a little disappointed that they actually do make it so just for 243 ammo, you actually still have to buy it. Like, most basic of weapons should at least come with free unlimited ammo for it. Everything else I could understand more, but that just feels like a bit of a no-no step. You should be able to, at least for the most basic of weapons, get ammo without having to, like, buy it. Because imagine if you don't exactly, like, hunt that much, or you're taken more to, like, how shooting games sort of can be. You're just more shooting wildly at things. You don't know there are ethical weapons for certain animals or stuff like that. I could see running completely out of ammo and just, like, winding up with, well, what the hell? Why is this like this? So I do think that's one change that would be nice to do, is just make it so the 243, you get unlimited ammo, you don't have to feel like you're spending out a little bit of GM every time just to keep hunting. Make it a little more approachable in that regard for the game. But overall, aside from that, I think it is something that if you take time, you can slowly get to. I do admit, though, when I was browsing the weapons on the store page for the Hunter Classic, they seem really, really expensive, and I am against that a bit, because your different weapons are what are basically going to make you have more ways to play the game. And if you make it so hard to try playing the game in other ways, it might not be as easy to stick with the game. Now, because I was playing the Hunter Classic way, way back, what were the years? I guess maybe around 2010-ish? Something like that, but I used to pick up basically a year subscription that was bundled with a bunch of weapons, which is why I have quite a bit in my inventory at the lodges. But if you don't, like, want to spend money, you just want to try the game out, I do see, like, the kind of steepness of how much the weapons are to be something that could turn people away from wanting to stick to the game. Because if you stick with the one weapon, you have to use that for like 100 hours. Well, probably not that many hours, but if you have to use that over and over and over and over and over and over, it kind of is going to wear thin on you. So that's one thing I do think could use a little bit of a tweak, or even just make it so that way you can have, like, say, a basic rifle, a basic shotgun. Just give a little bit more to a free-to-play person when they first arrive, and kind of hook them in with a little bit more that way. What do we got here? Oh, more red fox. Well, the comments were very right about the red fox being in the western areas more. Just that these rabbits are not too easy to actually seem to stumble upon. Let me take a look at the map. Maybe if we get up this area more, we'll stumble across. Oh, that actually sounded very close. Yeah, that is very close. Okay. Let's see if we can get this as our last animal for this episode, and then we're going to be in a pretty good spot to leave things off here. And then we'll just zoom out with the scope so we can get a little bit of a better, like, overall view. But yeah, red fox are definitely quite a bit more plentiful. That's the word I'm looking for. Plentiful in the western areas of the map and into, like, more of the reddish area on it. Although, I mean, it kind of does make sense. With the coat colorings to them, they would blend in very well. Oh, I think that's it there. Yeah, there you are. And kind of see the outline forming too. Okay, so just a female. She's not really stopping though, is she? Oh, you know what? I'm going to take that one. Just because the color... Ooh. Mission, this town ain't big enough for both of us. Spot completed. Now, I want to take that guy just because the fur color. That's a lot different than the other one. I don't know if it's actually going to play much into, like, the statistics for what we get from him. But just as he's approaching, that color is a lot different than the other one. So let's take a little look and see. I'm actually kind of glad I was waiting for her to stop before I would have taken the shot, but... yeah, take a look at you. You're quite a bit different for fur coloring. What does it say? Female, rarity gray. I don't know what gray rarity means, but... oh, and there's a mission complete. So there we go. That's a little bit more GM that we can have coming in from that mission done. And you know what? I think we're going to... yeah, sure, we can get something like that in. Let's just spin us a little bit and get a little picture in here. There we go. That looks good. Let me see if I can just... yeah, everything looks kind of... maybe a little lower. Just get everybody in frame. Yes, I know I'm a bit of a perfectionist. Sue me. There we go. Oh, 43. Not too bad either. Okay, so we'll leave this episode of the Hunter Classic right here to start with. Thank you guys very much for joining me on this first episode of the weekend. We'll be right back to start next episode tomorrow and see if we can get that darn little rabbit that's on the map. But thank you guys very much for joining me on this episode of the series. If you did enjoy it, be sure to give us a like, and if you have any comments, tips, or tricks, be sure to leave it all in the comments right down below. I always try to respond to any questions or feedback as soon as I can on the channel. But until I do catch you in the next video or episode, survivors and hunters, please remember, as always, to take care, stay alive, and happy hunting.